Hey, this is Walter Jones.
This is Austin St. John.
And you're listening to
Ranger Danger.
Go, go, Ranger Danger. Go, go, Ranger Danger. Go, go, Ranger Danger. Matt and Michael's Ranger Danger.
Welcome once again to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger, the podcast where we watch an episode of the television series Adventure Time, and then we go on fun adventures and bring you along with us.
Yeah, what time is it, Matt?
It's Adventure Time, Michael. It's that every week. How could you not know that?
I mean, I'm a bit forgetful.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I see, that's all right.
Why are we doing an Adventure Time? Every time you suggest that we actually watch another TV show, in my head, a quite significant part of me goes, yeah, I like Adventure Time. There's never been an episode of Adventure Time as shitty as Green No More Part 2. So why the fuck aren't we watching Adventure Time?
So the reason Michael is so disappointed is because we actually watched an episode of the television series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Which, look, you probably know at this point.
Yeah, and then we talk about it afterwards. Every episode is someone's first, Michael.
Is that necessarily true?
Probably not true in our case.
Every episode can be someone's first.
Yeah, so we've got to be prepared for that.
If this is your first episode, send us an email.
Yeah.
And where can you do that?
You can send us an interweb mail at our email address, which is rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
If you just want to check out our website, that's www.rangerdangerpodcast.com.
Yep.
If your intention is to send us a Twitter tweet, you can do that at RangerDcast. That's our Twitter tweet handle. You could also listen to the show on Stitcher, listen to it on YouTube, listen to us on iTunes, follow us on Facebook, or buy one of our many very cool things from our shop, which you can find at rangerdangerpodcast.com/shop. I'm a professional. Did you see that shit?
We finally got it down.
All over it.
All it took was 76 episodes. All it took was 18 months of this for us to finally get good. Okay, so this week we've got something to talk about.
I love things.
Yeah. Matt, I know you're familiar with, obviously, that Power Rangers was the first adapted Sentai.
Certainly.
Have you ever heard of Dynaman?
I don't think so.
So Dynaman was the Sentai that aired in Japan between 83 and 84.
Okay, so quite a while before Zaya Ranger.
Yes, well before. In 1988, 6 episodes aired of it on the USA network.
Oh.
Dubbed
Yeah.
with a parody dub.
Okay.
Right? So
That sounds fantastic.
We've got some of the first episode on YouTube, and I'll put a link in the show notes. So we're going to pause and watch some of that.
Watch a little bit.
And then we'll come back.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
We just watched about 12 minutes, I
Yeah.
think. We sat here for a long time.
It's pretty solidly funny.
Yeah.
A bit racist in a few different ways.
Yes, certainly.
But entertaining, definitely.
Oh, they should do that again.
It's pretty funny. That's something like we could do.
There's 15 years of Sentai before. Were you a fan of Iron Chef?
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Iron Chef.
I do
I
like
think,
Iron Chef.
yeah, I think there's room in the parody dub market.
Yeah. For that. Absolutely. And there's a surprisingly prescient line about them using non-union musicians. It's like, oh, that's going to be unfortunate in about 10 years.
That was very good.
Yeah,
I
it was
very
good.
much enjoyed that.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the list, or shall we go watch Beauty and the Beast?
No, let's go watch Beauty and the Beast.
All right.
So, Kimberly's the beauty, the monster's the beast?
That's what I'm guessing.
That seems like a pretty reasonable guess,
Yeah.
I think.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys soon. Well, Michael, I wasn't expecting it, but I have to say, that was actually an incredibly good salad roll I had while watching the episode. Episode itself...
Not bad.
It was quite good up until like the 15-minute mark, maybe.
About that, yeah.
And then it all fell to pieces.
Which we should be used to, you'd think.
You'd think.
Alright.
From top?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So, Kimberly has a mirror that Tommy won for her.
Yes.
Tommy's a douche.
Why?
Like, they're, as far as we can tell, still dating. He's not even, giving her a call or...
It is that weird nebulous, are they dating? I don't,
Yeah.
They definitely have something going on, but...
the show hasn't shown them having really anything to do with each other in a long time. I don't know, she seems to still be into him.
Yeah.
So...
And he's not contacted her.
No.
Yeah.
He wrote a letter to Jason.
Well, he can't deny your heart, Michael.
No. So she misses him.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is sad. Billy takes this opportunity to move in on Tommy's territory and throw it. It's actually the third person in this episode that tries to get in on some Kimberly action.
Yep.
Because he puts his arm...
And you're not going to guess who the third one is.
He puts his arm around Kim. You know, like, it's just a friendly
Yeah,
sweetheart.
he's just comforting her.
But it is a bit kind of like... She is upset about her boyfriend moving away. Maybe don't sort of...
Back off a
yourself up
bit,
again.
dude. Yeah. Okay, so... Lord Zed...
All of a sudden, Lord Zed went from cool villain to creepy stalker in about 3 seconds.
So basically he says, like, I've crushed the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
I think the Pink Ranger will be next.
Yeah.
She has always intrigued me. I mean, look, you and me
In the
both.
pants.
You and me both, Zed. But,
But we don't get our friends to drug her.
and kidnap her.
Yeah.
And make her dress like our previous...
Wife.
deposed empress.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
Okay, so, yeah, he's going to get Goldar to kidnap her. Madam Swampy.
Yes.
That's a terrible name for a fortune teller.
Yeah. So Billy and Kimberly are reading the paper. They see apparently an incredibly effective ad because it catches the eye of two separate groups of people.
Yep.
For a fortune teller. Yes, that is a terrible fortune teller name.
Yep.
Swampy? Like,
I guess it, like, implies New Orleans and, like...
yeah, you know, like in not the way you want.
No, sure.
In the bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy basically says, hey, you know that fortune telling is all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
To
And
which-
Kimberly's like, yeah, but maybe she'll tell me something about Tommy. And I think what Billy really should have said here is, bitch, did you listen to what I
Yeah,
said?
no. I know, I like, she might, but it will be bullshit because it's all bullshit. You understand that, right? Bulk and Skull come in. Bulk is dressed like Steve Irwin.
So this is after Billy and Kimberly leave.
Yep.
They say they're going to go to the fortune tellers.
Yep.
Billy says, "Oh, okay. I just need to grab my rollerblades, rather."
Yep.
And they leave, which is going to be pertinent in a bit because they don't end up in the same place.
No, they end up in two separate places.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bulk sees the ad as well. It must be a good ad.
Yeah. We should advertise on that, I think.
He wants Madam Swampy to help him find out who the Power Rangers are.
Yeah.
You know, he's been trying for a while now. He's gotten desperate. He's going to charlatans and con men, apparently.
Yes.
So they go to Madam Swampy. We don't see Billy and Kimberly there, but we do see Bulk and Skull there.
We definitely do.
They don't have the $5 deposit that she requires, which is a bit sad, really.
It is a bit sad. You got to feel bad for those guys.
Yeah. So she'll give them one free prediction, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually not a prediction. It's a treasure map. And if you follow it, she says, you'll be happy with what you find.
And that's it.
They won't be.
No. It's a weird B plot for this episode.
It is, isn't
Particularly
it?
because Kim never gets to the fortune teller.
No. So, it, like...
It's a very... the monster
but
is a fortune teller
I think
thing.
she actually does. Because later she says, Madam Swampy didn't predict this,
Oh, okay.
but
Right.
we just never see her there or...
Okay. It's just not relevant to the plot at all.
No, in any way.
Yeah. It's an odd one.
It is an odd one. So, where are we? Madam Swampy looks kind of like Miss Appleby.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, if that was Miss Appleby's night job, I wouldn't be surprised. Because, you know, high school teacher doesn't pay a lot. And that would explain why she was already pissed off with Bulk and Skull when they arrived.
That's true. As soon as they walked in the door, she'd be like, yep, these guys are trouble.
Fuck these guys, yeah.
Yeah.
So Kimberly is walking through a part of Angel Grove we've never seen before that looks like an abandoned shop district.
Yeah.
Putties appear with Goldar. Goldar has some magic dust
Yep.
that he blows in Kimberly's face.
Which is so weird because his goal here is to get her to another place.
Yes.
Right?
Wouldn't it be good if he had, like,
A fire sword that teleported people.
that he'd used last week or the week before? That
Yeah,
would
2
be
weeks
very
ago.
that would be very useful.
Yeah.
No, magic dust.
No. He rehypnolizes her and then throws her over his shoulder.
Yeah. It's just
It's an uncomfortable thing to be touching on.
I think the weird thing about it is it's like the most physical Goldar's ever gotten with a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
And for it to be like
In that
he's
context.
found a girl on his own and drugged her and he's taken her back to his cave.
Yeah.
It's just
It's uncomfortable. Yeah. Absolutely.
But Kimberly drops the mirror that Tommy gave her.
Yep.
Which is going to become a mirror monster.
Yes. Because of course it is.
Yep. Who we will later learn is called the Mirror Maniac.
Not that much of a maniac.
And even later than that, we will learn he is kind of shit.
Yeah.
So, Zordon, in the command center, he can see what's going on in this cave.
Yep.
And he says, from the looks of the cave, Lord Zed wants to make Kimberly his new queen.
That's good reading of the room.
I mean, there is a throne there,
Yeah.
to be fair, but that doesn't necessarily signify that, I wouldn't
that is
say.
a big logical leap, yeah.
And also, did Lord Zed have an old queen?
Not that we know.
We've certainly never...
Yeah, there's no indication of that thus
No.
far. Yeah.
They don't know where the cave is, despite the fact that they're watching it.
Yeah.
Like, could they not just
Zoom
the camera out, like, click the minus on the Google Maps,
Yeah.
go out the door and just... Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah.
It's the one cave in Angel Grove.
No, it's the Cave of Fantasy, Michael.
Goldar calls it the Cave of Fantasy. It's just fucked up. It's fucked
just
up.
a cave.
It's a cave with a throne in it.
I think the only thing worse than finding a woman alone on the street, drugging her, and taking her back to your cave is then calling that
the
cave...
the Cave of Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's weird and messed up.
It's weird and messed up. I think that's true. So while they're going to try and find the cave.
Yeah.
While that's happening, Billy and Zach... Oh, before that happens, Billy and Zach are doing some roller skating.
Yeah.
They come back.
Which is, like, makes Billy look like a bit of a jerk because he was meant to be with Kimberly and she got
Apparently.
attacked and kidnapped.
Yeah, it's unclear what's going on. And the line about him needing his roller skates felt like weirdly ADR'd at the end of the scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, so while this is happening, Lord Zed sends down some putties
Yep.
who encounter Curtis and Richie. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Like, definitely they're selling the idea that they might next
Stick
week
around.
punch one of them and have them explode.
Yep.
And the week after that end up with a morpher. Like...
Yep.
That wouldn't be surprising.
Absolutely.
And I can imagine that they'd probably been advertising, like, the White Ranger at this point. I'd imagine that was going to be, like, a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
you know Richie Rich?
yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a Richie here. He doesn't have a lot of money,
Yeah.
but he's ripped. So I think that makes him Richie Rich.
Yeah, he has his, like, he has just, like, a vest, basically. He's in shape.
He's in great shape.
Yeah, he's not oiled like Jason was 2 weeks
He
ago.
looks a little
but
oiled, but not as oiled.
I think he's just probably sweaty from all the roller skating. Everyone looked kind of sweaty in this episode.
Yeah.
It might have just been a hot day. So Zach goes down to fight these putties.
Just before that, sorry. They're in the command center.
Yep.
Two things that I wanted to note. Zordon mentions that the cave is yet another dimension of another one of Lord Zed's dimensions.
Yep.
Which is like, okay, no, it's not, because we see them just walk out of the cave later.
Yep.
But also...
And we've seen this cave probably 30 times in
Yeah.
75 episodes.
I love that, though, they acknowledge that it's like, another dimension.
Yeah.
Like, he's got so many of these dimensions. It's getting out of
Most
hand.
of them are just caves.
Yeah. But the other thing is that they mention that, we'll get Trini later, and then we go to the command center and she's there.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is, because we know about
Yes.
Tweet Train's injury, it makes it really obvious to me now that they're shooting these in big blocks.
Yes, probably.
So they're shooting all the command center stuff
Yep.
first before they shoot the exterior stuff.
That's certainly likely, yes.
Yeah, because I think the other way this could have happened is they shot that command center stuff, then Tweet injured herself.
Yep.
And then they couldn't do the exterior stuff later.
Yeah.
So, just an interesting insight into production,
Jason also doesn't appear at all in this episode.
Not
other
once.
than morphed.
which is weird.
We're like 4 episodes away from the episode which everyone marks as the point at which they left.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe there wasn't some drama beforehand.
Yeah.
That, like...
Things are starting to fall apart.
Yeah, and he's going like, well, what if I don't come and do this episode? What
Yeah.
are you going to do about it? Like... And then...
Testing the limits a bit.
And then they went, right, that's a negotiating tactic. And then they went, we want to get paid more.
Yeah.
And they went, no, we're done.
Yeah.
It's weird not seeing Jason in the whole episode, though.
It really is. It's really... emphasizing the point that we're not going to have Jason very soon.
Yes.
Extremely soon.
The very weird thing is that there's a lot of fights in this, especially with Trini and Zach and Jason,
Yeah.
that are completely silent.
Yeah.
They don't even, they haven't dubbed in old sounds. They haven't done anything. They've just not put sounds in.
Yeah.
And it makes them, Robocop-y
Yeah.
in that they're not reacting at all. It's really strange.
It's kind of dehumanizing.
Yeah.
It makes them not scary. Is definitely way too far, but just a little off.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Curtis and Richie kind of run away from the putties.
Yeah.
And Zach fights them.
Yeah.
It's surprising to me, given how soon the other Rangers leave, that neither of them became replacements.
Yeah.
It seems like you have these two dudes who are maybe not wannabe actors,
Yeah.
but, who are in shape and are on the show
They seem like they
already,
can do
and
it. Maybe they just don't have the martial arts experience.
certainly possible.
Because I think they were cast knowing that it was never going to be a Power Rangers role. So they
Yes.
probably weren't asked to do a martial arts demonstration.
Yeah.
And then when they're casting the Rangers, they're like, okay, show us some...
Let's get some kung fu dudes. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So it's really cool because we get this fight with the putties in the playground.
Yep.
And it's intercut with Billy and Trini fighting putties outside the cave.
Yep.
And I don't think they've ever done that, where they have two fights and they're cutting
yep.
back, and they have the same music track. It's a cool sort of dynamic. It gives the scene a lot of energy.
Yeah. So, back in the Cave of Fantasy...
Yeah.
So I have to say before that, Curtis goes, "What were those things?" at the end of the fight, and Richie goes, "Yeah, they're putties. They're on the news all the time."
Yeah.
Curtis has been there for at least days, but probably weeks.
He should know about
he's
the putties. Yeah.
Surely when they moved,
Yeah.
the real estate agent mentioned
Yeah.
that occasionally the city is beset by giant monsters, and that's why all the houses are cheap.
Cheap. That's why they moved, presumably.
Yeah.
It's because they can get houses for a really good price, because you might lose it to a monster.
Yeah, you might get stepped on by an enormous creature beast.
Yeah.
So, part of the transformation of Kimberly into Lord Zed's bride is dressing her up like Rita.
This is easily my favourite part of the episode.
And Goldar's going to do a spell, or the dust should have already done the spell.
I think that's the implication.
That, makes her evil
Yeah.
somewhat. I know for a long time Amy Jo Johnson refused to talk about this show.
Yeah.
And, had moved on and didn't want to talk about it. She really is better than this show deserves. She does a Rita act that is...
Amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
She's doing the voice and doing the voice well. She's doing the mannerisms and pulling them off.
Yeah.
It's...
So, just to explain to the listeners, what happens is that she realises that Goldar thinks she's drugged, so she does the act. She can fool them and she should get herself out of trouble.
Yeah.
And they're trying to put her through evil training, basically, but she flips it on them by being so Rita-like and imposing they cower before her.
Because they've are so used to that.
Being browbeaten by
Yeah.
Rita. That they just
Especially
immediately...
Squad and Babu, their first thing is oh fuck, we've made a mistake here,
Yeah.
because Lord Zed left us alone,
Yeah.
and Rita was a taskmaster.
abusive. Yeah.
But, look, I have some problems, Kimberly would have seen Rita 4 times.
Yeah. There's a bit where she does the headache, which is funny, but she would have never been there for that.
No, absolutely
Not
never.
ever.
But it doesn't matter, because it is I'm willing to overlook a lot of things for this scene.
Yeah. Even the bit where Gola goes, one of my spells has worked too well, and runs away. That's pretty funny.
The idea that Goldar is so shit all the time.
Yeah.
That, the one time his spell works, it uses all the built-up success, and what he's done is just create another Rita.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good scene.
Yeah.
In a, solid episode. But, yeah, Amy Jo Johnson genuinely better than this show.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
think
good.
it's not unreasonable for her to have said that, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, Trini's voice at this stage, definitely a white girl.
Yeah. Doesn't sound anything like Trini.
No.
That guy that was dubbing Jason last week sounded like he was doing a Jason impression, the same
Yeah.
way Jeremy was when we did our
Yeah, exactly.
audio drama. This person was not trying to be Trini.
They found a girl because they realised too late that they didn't have anyone.
Yeah.
And they got, the sound engineer's cousin. And she was like, I don't sound anything like it. No, it would be close enough. No one will notice.
Yeah. We noticed.
We definitely noticed.
Yeah.
I don't know if kids would notice.
Yeah, I don't know. It took me 2 lines before I figured it
Yeah,
out.
it was-
So, maybe.
Yeah. Alright, so they rescue Kimberly
Yeah.
in the sense that she basically already rescued herself.
Which I really liked.
Yep.
You know, it's as we said before, it's uncomfortable symbolism's not quite the right word, but, you know, a kidnapping of a lone woman where she's dragged off to a cave, that's weird.
Yep.
But they kind of redeem it because she really does save herself.
Yeah, she pulls it out, yeah.
Yeah, using her wit, she gets herself out of the situation.
And then the other 2 rangers arrive, but really they're just there to be enough of them that
The others
everyone's
run away.
run away. Yeah, everyone's scared off.
Yeah. I mean, it really wouldn't have been strange in this scene. It really would have fit for me if she had have, in that, like, act, grabbed her morph off the wall and did a thing and gotten away.
That would, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty good.
It was good.
So, Mirror Maniac.
Yeah.
He says, basically his first line is, "This will reflect well on me." And I'll be honest, that earned him a lot of goodwill.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what he does is stand in the background, and of course, I mean, he stands in some Japanese footage, watches them fight some putties,
Yeah, look, it's just unfortunate that it's going to happen for a while, you know?
and then he grows. When he grows, he's got a cracked mirror, which
Yep.
wasn't there before. Presumably, he was attacked by some Japanese men that broke his mirror. And then they do a Megazord fight with Thunder Megazord and Mirror Maniac. Completely uneventful.
It's pretty...
It lasts for about 45 seconds, and he doesn't have any powers. Like, Mirror Maniac doesn't have any powers.
No, not that we see, at least.
Like,
There's a thing where he, like, shoots something out of his mirror, but it doesn't appear to do...
He seems to shoot it at a building.
Yeah.
And that nothing comes of that.
No.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, the building doesn't even blow up.
No, or, like, disappear, or
Or anything like that.
mirror, or anything.
I think what's really egregious is that at no point is he any sort of threat.
No.
There's no indication at any point that they're not well and truly equipped to handle the situation.
Look, I understand that the format of this show is giant monster comes, they fight giant monster, end. But if they padded this Kim as reader thing by 10 minutes
Yeah.
and cut out Mirror Maniac entirely,
Yeah.
it would have been about 300 times better as an episode.
Yeah.
It would have been, like, good, maybe even.
Yeah. But it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. So it's a very quick fight.
In this fight, though, I've noticed this a few times, but the orb on the Thunder Megazord looks blue.
Yeah.
And on previous occasions, I've noticed that, but just thought it was the light or something. But in this, it looks solid blue. It
Yeah.
seems to be sometimes it's green and sometimes it's blue. Have you noticed that at all?
I don't know if it's something. I don't know if it is just the coloration of the footage,
Right.
and
Okay.
how that worked, or
Maybe it's a thing in the Japanese
yeah,
footage.
if there's different. When we get up to, we're going to do an episode of Die Ranger at some point,
Yeah.
probably in the next couple of months. So maybe we'll see something there. Maybe it's got like modes or
Sure.
something. I don't know, or if it's just weird colours and such. If you know,
Let us know.
send us an email.
Pass along that information. Absolutely.
All right, so Mirror Maniac's defeated.
Yep.
He's a pretty shitty maniac.
Again, not a maniac at all.
No.
Very sensible, if anything.
So the Rangers are back at the youth centre.
Yep.
Bulk and Skull arrive, having followed their map. Now, technically, the map has led them to the Power Rangers,
That's true.
right?
Which is pretty funny.
It's just that it's led them to the only place anyone ever is in this town.
Yeah.
So, statistically, it is likely that they'd bump into the Power Rangers there.
Yeah.
But,
What it has led them to is free protein muffins.
yes, Billy looks at the map, looks at the back, and says, "Oh, look, it's like if you buy lunch, you can get a free protein muffin."
80% of Bulk and Skull's troubles this season could be improved if they just looked at things a little more clearly. Like if they looked at their photos before they presented them to people.
So Ernie reveals that Madame Swampy is a friend of his.
Yeah.
And it's a promotional gimmick.
Yeah.
Now, first, good job, Ernie.
Yeah.
That's a good...
Look, he's turning this business around.
Yeah, that's a good gimmick. First of all, a free muffin if you buy lunch. That's an alright deal.
Yeah,
if I wanted a muffin, and a protein muffin is good for all the people who'd be at the Juice Bar Youth Centre.
Yep, absolutely.
And advertising with other local businesses. Maybe, like, You never know, maybe the newspaper with the ad, maybe Ernie leaves them on the counter to drive people to Madame Swampy's.
Yeah, that would explain why it was working so well.
Some good reciprocal.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. That's terrible business for Madame Swampy.
Why is that?
Because if someone goes to her and says, give me a prediction...
I think it's just she gives them their fortune, then at the end she's like, oh, by the way, go here for a free muffin.
Right, and she's just fucked with Bulk and Skull.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So did she hand draw the treasure map very quickly?
No, I think it always had a direct, it was just a map to let you know how to get to the juice bar.
Right, okay. And she's just fucking with Bulk and Skull.
Yeah, and she just said it's a treasure map.
No, I'd buy all of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So Richie's in this scene as well.
Yep.
Or is it Curtis? One of them hits on Kim. I remember
Curtis.
that.
Because he brings Kim home the mirror,
Mirror, yeah.
which he found.
And he's like, hey, beautiful woman like you, hey.
Okay. You've done some accents on this show. Was that the Fonz?
Yeah, that was Italian Curtis.
Okay.
And once again, it's like, Matt, just get off Kimberly, all right, everybody? She's
I
a
don't
young...
want to get on Kimberly.
No, leave her alone, Michael. She's making her way in the world. She doesn't need to be harassed by men. Okay? Don't do that face at me. It's not appropriate for me. It's not appropriate for the podcast medium.
Okay. No, that's true. It's definitely not appropriate for the podcast medium.
Yep.
Okay. That's it, basically.
That's it. I guess we have to put that mirror dude on the creature feature.
Yeah.
Low. Very low.
Low. Not Goldar low.
No. And it's a pity, because he has a very cool design.
Yeah.
I really like the design of the monster.
So the mirror is, in the centre.
Yeah.
And he's got, open flaps around it.
It's almost like an
kind of.
Aztec stone sort of design around the mirror.
Yeah. It's pretty rad.
It is rad, but, again, no good.
Okay, so where are you going to put Mirror Master, do we think?
Mirror Maniac.
Mirror Maniac, sorry. Mirror Master is a Flash villain.
Definitely somewhere in the bottom 20.
Sure. He's definitely above Wheel of Misfortune.
I think he goes above Frankenstein. Although Frankenstein did that thing where he pulled the chains out, so at least he did something.
Between Frankenstein and Saliguana?
Yeah, let's do that.
That's pretty low. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pity after last week's cool thing that we get such a lame... And I understand it's a problem with the footage they have.
Yeah, we're in that unfortunate position at the moment where that's just how it is.
And do you know when we get out of that, really?
Not for a while, probably.
Okay.
Okay, so now it's time for our What Was the Japanese Footage Called segment. We've got another suggestion for the segment from Christov, who thinks we could call it This Week in Japan.
Well, that's all right.
I kind of dig that as well.
Yeah.
I think we can keep trying these out.
Yep.
See which we find ones that stick. So, what do we think?
Well, he was a mirror monster.
That's certainly true.
Was he one of those things where, he created illusions with his mirror?
Yeah, he could have.
Okay. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I got nothing else. So let's find out what happened in Don't Be Vain.
Well, hey, is this the one we're going to watch?
No, we'll watch a different episode.
Okay, all right.
So a mirror fly. It's okay. Let's find out. The mirror is called the Mirror Makeup Artist.
Okay.
It consumes people when they see their own reflection in the mirror.
That's interesting.
And something about a vision of a peacock.
All right. I think that's about all we need to know.
Yep.
The vision of a peacock.
Yep.
The Japanese version is always better.
Oh, that's certainly proved true so far.
Yeah.
So, one last interesting fact.
Yes.
This is basically the last episode for 3 years to not have Tommy in it.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Because...
He's in White Light.
Spoilers,
Yeah.
he's coming back next week.
Yeah.
And other spoilers, he is never leaving.
Yeah. So he hasn't missed an episode after
I
this.
think there's 1 or 2 episodes maybe that don't have him in it.
Right, okay.
But his character is still, around.
Yeah.
It's just that...
he's off.
He's absent from shooting or, took a day off or whatever.
Yeah.
But so for 3 years, more or less, we're going to have
We've got a lot of JDF.
all Tommy all the time.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay! Look, the White Ranger's pretty cool. That'll be fine.
He's got a talking sword.
Less hot on him as the Red Ranger, but that's fine. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
He's better than Rocky as a Red Ranger.
We get it, mate. You don't like
I
Rocky.
don't like Rocky.
That's not far away either, which
No.
is exciting.
Got a lot of changes coming up soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you all stick with us for that one.
It's a time of turmoil.
In the galaxy far, far away? In the Republic? Isn't that how that starts?
I don't think so. I think you made that up.
Okay, I probably did.
Okay.
I'm sure that's it. We'll look that up.
Okay, we'll look that up and we'll get back to you guys later.
Put it in the show notes or something.
So, next week, White Light Part 1.
That's right.
We're hoping to maybe get someone back who's
Yeah.
been on the show before. I'm not sure quite who yet. It'll depend on who's
Availability.
free.
Yep.
But we'll definitely have a guest.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big change for the show.
Have you seen... Because I've seen White Light more recently than I've seen anything else.
I haven't seen it more than I've seen anything else. I definitely had either part 1 or part 2, or maybe both, on VHS taped.
Right.
So I saw it a lot. when I
Because
was a kid.
there was a DVD that I've spoken about in the past that was like the best of the Power Rangers. That was 5 episodes from, I think, the first 10 seasons or whatever.
Right.
And White Light is the Mighty Morphin sample episode.
Okay.
So
Is it the two?
it's 2 parts.
Okay.
So, I mean, look, I haven't watched it. I probably hadn't seen it in a year before we started the podcast, and I've held off from watching anything on that since. But I think it'll be the first Mighty Morphin episode that I have any kind of familiarity with
It's interesting.
at all, which is going to be interesting.
All right, cool. Well, we'll do that next week.
You know the one thing I'm disappointed by?
Yeah.
The show hasn't...
Is it there's one theme, Michael?
Oh, yeah, like one specific thing.
Okay.
The show hasn't set up the idea of a new Power Ranger yet.
Yes.
Like, they definitely knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Which we know because they're setting up red herrings and they're doing... It would have been nice to just have, like, maybe a scene at the end of this one
A teaser.
with
Like
Zordon talking to Alpha about, like, you know, are the powers ready? Something to make people go, what's happening?
even just really small things, like if they had a screen and you could see, like, Ranger power designs or something. in the
Yes, I
background.
don't know, like, something... Especially because the idea of Curtis and Richie being red herrings...
Yeah.
If I'm a kid, I don't necessarily know that they're red herrings for anything.
No, you don't pick up on that. Absolutely.
And, like, I'm going to know in 20 minutes. So it's not very long for them to be red herrings for.
Yeah, they really could have built this up a bit longer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even, like, I mean, I guess Tommy hasn't been gone that long.
Yeah.
But, whatever. We'll see you next week. White
Yep.
Light Part 1.
See you then, guys.
Beep, beep, boop, boop, boop.